This, my friends, is the Mahindra Thar Roxx. The Thar 5-door, as we've been calling it while we saw all the spy pictures. And I'm quite sure if you're a Thar enthusiast or a Thar owner like myself, you've got a lot of questions that you've want answered about the 5-door. So I'm going to do my best to get through some of what I feel are the most important questions about the Thar Roxx, and stay tuned for that. So starting with, of course, the design has changed, but it's more than just the design. We're talking about it being a little wider, definitely taller, and a lot longer than what it used to be before. So as the 5-door, they've increased the wheelbase, and that has gone up to 2,850 mm. And the question that I have over here obviously was, what happens to its 4x4 capability? And what I've been told is that it's got an amazing breakover angle. It's got brilliant approach angles and departure angles. It comes loaded with tech that ensures that you can actually do more off-roading with this than you can with the 3-door. So that was the number one thing that I was concerned about. I live in Kodaikanal, and I'm quite sure a lot of you out there who did buy the 3-door bought it for its off-roading capability. Still an exceptional off-roader. It's worth holding on to. But if you are looking at something bigger, something that's also premium, and something that can cater to your family, yet take care of your individual off-roading need, the Roxx will do it. The second question I had was about the engine. Now, as you know, in the 3-door, you do get the petrol and the diesel. I own a diesel, so I'm going to talk about that a little bit more, is the fact that it does about 130 PS of power. Over here, the power output has gone up. It's 150 plus, and that's obviously to compensate for the added weight, the added length, and it feels more refined. I think NVH levels have improved, and they've done a fantastic job in terms of overall vibration and harshness that a lot of us felt with the 3-door. So that's again another big change, and it also answers the question about power output definitely going up on the Thar Roxx. For me, being a Thar owner, one of the few things that definitely was, apart from the obvious, I'm not talking about the space and the practicality part of it just yet, but for me, the other element was about ride quality. So coming to the Roxx, they've revised the complete underpinning. It's an all-new vehicle. The only thing that it shares with the 3-door Thar is possibly some of the looks and the name. But underneath, it's all new. So it's got a new platform. It's actually based off of the Scorpio N platform. That has been tweaked for the Roxx. The suspension is all new. So you've got the frequency dampeners, you've got the Pentalink suspension at the rear, you've got all that gizmo gadgetry that ensures it handles almost like a monocoque. And despite being a ladder-on frame design, it does an exceptional job around corners. Handling has definitely improved, and so has steering input, which brings me to my next point. Now, on the 3-door, we actually got a hydraulic steering, hydraulic power steering, that is. And over here, we actually get an electric power steering. So the way that this works is obviously the way any electric power steering works. It feels a lot lighter, it feels easier. There's less harshness over there as well. Yet, you feel very composed and in control. So the ride has changed, the handling has changed. All of these things have definitely made a big difference with the Thar Roxx. Now, while I've told you about the suspension setup and the big changes over there, the other thing is that the top model rides on 19-inch alloys. In fact, if you take a look at the tire size, it's 255/60 R19. And what we're talking about here is something that looks great, definitely adds to the entire poise of it, but also serves a rather practical purpose because the Thar is now a little longer. You wanted that height, and this adds to that. Having said that, the other variants come on 18 inches, which is what you got on the 3-door, which is not that bad either, but you expect them to have a little bit more rubber on them. Speaking of driving the Thar Roxx, now when I got behind the wheel, it was definitely something I thought would feel very similar to being where I was in my 3-door, but it feels different. You don't feel the size, which is wonderful. but at the same time it feels so composed on the road. Cruising down the highway, the way it soaks up road undulations, that smoothness, that drive style and that drive feel is something that is possibly comparable to SUVs that might be twice the price of the Thar Roxx. And that's something that was a standout feature for me, is the overall ride quality, the way it corners, the way you feel. You know, I've explained about the suspension part, but it's the way you feel as the driver or as a passenger in the Thar. You know, it's just so composed, it doesn't rock you around. Body roll is definitely to a minimum. It's something that I'm really looking forward to driving in the Ghats and really pushing it over there to see how much it can take. But as far as city driving on highways is concerned, this thing will cruise till kingdom come and you will not feel tired. Last but not the least, when it comes to the driving element of it, is the fact that you want a safe vehicle. And over here, again, Mahindra has ensured that they've packaged it with a ton of safety features as standard. That includes 6 airbags, you've got ESP, you've got your your ABS, all of that. The higher models get ADAS level 2, so that's again something that's great. And for all my friends who live out in the hills, hill hold is also part of the package. So that's just some of the highlights on safety. It's got a ton of features on board. It's got a great build, and it's something, as we all know, Mahindra loves to live up to that 5-star crash rating, and I'm expecting this to have a similar rating when those ratings come out. Now let's take a look inside. Now coming to the cabin. Now I was expecting it to, sort of just be a 5-door version of the existing 3-door Thar, but that is not the case. Mahindra has played a more premium role over here. They've actually upped the game by a ton of levels, if you were to ask me. Number one is that you don't get a plastic roof. You actually get a nice sheet of metal over there. The top end variant gets a panoramic sunroof, and that's also really neat and a nice feature. It gives the cabin a nice airy feel. But if you come closer and you take a look at the cabin, which I want to show you now, you will see that while a lot of it is reminiscent of the Thar, so we're talking about the overall dash design is still very reminiscent of the 3-door, but everything else has changed. You get a larger touchscreen interface. When I fire it up, I'll show you that you get a nice digital instrument cluster for the driver, and your information display over there. You even get navigation in there if you need it. The buttons for the windows, they're finally on the door. Okay, so no more reaching down in the middle, no more banging your hand on the door in those initial days of confusion. It's on the door. You've got controls for all 4 windows over here. You can lock it, you can do all of that. You can even adjust your ORVMs with the controller over here. So that's moved over here. The other bits of premiumness that you do get to enjoy are the seats. The seats themselves are covered in leatherette. The front seats are ventilated, so you can get nice cool seats, which I think is a great touch for a premium SUV. And the driver's seat is electronically adjustable. So that's again something that is very useful. I share my Thar with my wife. She's 5'4", I'm 6'2", and that struggle to get the seat position right every single time, it is a little painful. I'm quite sure some of you out there might have enjoyed the same pain, but now it's a lot easier, and that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to and I'm very appreciative of, is this on the seat. The speakers, if you remember, they used to be mounted up here in the 3-door. Now you've got tweeters over here in the door handle. You've got a speaker up front in the door. You've got speakers in the rear. You actually get a total of 9 speakers on board. We're talking about the Harman Kardon system, and a 9-speaker system at that. This is a big change, and having this door right here has made all the difference in that level of practicality. But seating is wonderful. It's nice. You can recline the second row, so you can actually get, for tall people, that's a much nicer position. There's a lot of knee room. The seat, if you look, it's kind of contoured, and that gives you ample room for you to get in and out of. But coming to, before I move to the rear, the one thing I do want to talk about, and this was again something of concern to me, and I'm just going to jump back to design over here, is two things. One was the door handle, the position of the door handle, and the second was this. Everybody has been asking about this little bit in the design. So why does this exist? Why is it there? What's with that? And I agree, from the pictures, I was a little skeptical myself. But when you see it in the flesh, what they have done and what you don't realize in pictures is that for the door handle over here, there's a slight indentation. Okay, so the door handle is not really protruding as much as I thought it would be. And it's actually pretty neat, easy to slide in and use. And what they've done on all the color variants is that the rear door handle is actually body colored. Up front you get the standard black. So again, sort of merges with the design, and it doesn't look that bad in real life. As for the skink, yes, I know, I've read the comments, I've heard what everybody has to say. But again, let me tell you that pictures don't do justice to it. Over here, it looks a little bit more refined. It looks like it's a little bit more part of the design. And when you view the vehicle side on, it gives the Thar a nice silhouette. So it sort of plays with that line, playing off the black and then the body color, depending on what you go for. Unless you go for the all black, then you don't notice this that much. But it's not that bad. Take my word for it. It's something that will grow on you, and it actually is pretty decent. Now, coming to the rear, of course, the number one grouse was space, right? I mean, we bought the 3-door. It was the ultimate lifestyle vehicle. But if you had to take it out on a road trip, getting bags in there and trying to get a couple of family members in the rear seat was always a question. Over here, they've kept the way it opens exactly the same. You do get this added touch, a rear wiper. And as far as space is concerned, it opens up about 450 liters of boot space. That's if you don't pile it all the way to the top. If you do pile up to the top, you've got about 650 liters of boot space. So you can pack in a lot of bags. Even here, if you stand it up, you can probably get 3 or 4 suitcases in here, more than any requirement for a road trip. And it's very sorted. Again, at the back, what they've done is you've got very neat hooks. So you can actually tether your luggage in here. You've also got a 12-volt port at the back that allows you to plug in and have that access to power back here should you take it camping. It is a lifestyle vehicle. It is a premium vehicle that you are going to enjoy in all sorts of environments. So Mahindra has thought through a lot with the Thar Roxx, and that is very impressive. Last but not the least, the seats do fold. Yeah, you can get them, they don't go flat. There's still a bit of a bump, but you can fold them down and open up a ton of space should you need it. So as far as questions go, it does take care, it does tick mark a lot of my things. Of course, design, power delivery, the way it can do off-roading, these were the big questions that I had for myself. And I think Mahindra has ensured that the Thar Roxx lives up to what you would expect from the Thar brand. And they've kept that DNA very much intact, and yet added a layer of premiumness to it, which makes it a great family vehicle as well. So I think it's a win-win. And when we're talking about the price, I mean, we're talking about it starting from 12.99 lakhs for the base model petrol, 13.99 for the base diesel, and going up to about 18.99 for the rear-wheel drive diesel manual top model. Yes, the 4x4s and all of that will go above that. It will cross into the 20 lakh kind of mark, but yet it is such a fantastic deal on wheels. And that obviously is the last question that anybody has, is the pricing. And as you can see, Mahindra has really nailed it, and I think it's definitely a vehicle worth considering. Now, if you want to know more about the Thar, I do have a full-blown review as well out there, where I talk about how it drives on the road, putting all those details out there as well. But if you do have any questions, drop me a comment below. It's my promise and the MOTORSCRIBES promise that I answer every question that comes in on the channel.